I'm Henry, 43, and my wife is Rachel, 40. We've been married for 16 years with two kids, our 14-year-old daughter, Charlotte, and our 9-year-old son, James. The early years of our marriage were rocky. Immaturity played a role since we married young, and we endured those struggles. I honestly believe we'd emerged stronger. I'm still not sure whether that was just wishful thinking. Rachel has been a manager at a large advertising company for the last 3 years. I've worked in engineering for 7. Our combined income gave our family a comfortable life. We were a tight-knit group, always making sure to spend quality time together, no matter how busy we got. I considered myself a good dad and husband. Sure, I messed up here and there, but I'd do anything for Rachel. It shook me to the core when I discovered her long-term affair. Discovery. Rachel's behavior changed about 2 years ago. She was constantly comparing me to her boss, Colin, saying things like, "Colin wouldn't do it that way," or "Colin is so considerate. He picks up on his wife's needs without being told." She treated me like I was failing every turn. This was new. She'd never been that critical, so I tried to be better. I read books, researched ways to spice up our love life, hoping to prove I could be the partner she wanted. But any effort was met with half-hearted appreciation or blunt disappointment. All the while, we were quite close to Colin and his wife, Jill. They also have kids. Our children loved playing together, and we often had them over for barbecues, day trips, game nights. I confided in Colin about my marriage troubles, and he gave me what I thought was solid advice. He seemed like a great guy. But eventually, Rachel was texting someone late at night, giggling. When I tried to peek in her phone, she yanked it away, furious, accusing me of invading her privacy. That's when I truly felt something was off. I asked her directly about it the next day. She erupted, denying any wrongdoing, refusing to let me see her phone. Later, she grudgingly handed it over. By then, she clearly wiped messages. Entire conversations seemed missing or absurdly one-sided. My suspicion grew. I didn't want to accuse her blindly, so I asked a friend of mine, Toby, to look into her phone when possible and recover any deleted texts. Meanwhile, Rachel got another phone, barely using the one she'd shown me. Some fragments Toby recovered confirm an affair, and with Colin. I was floored, but I knew if I confronted her right away, she'd likely lie or hide evidence. My world crumbled, but I tried to keep it together for our kids. I even bought How to Help Your Spouse Heal from an Affair, hoping to share it with her, still clinging to the idea of salvaging the marriage. Then came a Saturday. Rachel said she had an emergency at work and wouldn't be back until late. I called her office. No one answered. They weren't even open weekends. My calls to her phone went ignored. She arrived at 2:00 a.m., showered, and fell into bed. When I asked about her lateness, she brushed me off, reminded me she'd told me not to wait for her. That's when any hope I had began to die. She saw me suffering and didn't care. Teaming up with her boss's wife, desperate for answers, I reached out to Jill, Colin's wife. Maybe she'd noticed something. She was blindsided, but soon discovered that her husband was also messing around. We decided we both needed solid proof. Jill dug through Colin's phone, and I compared texts Toby had retrieved from Rachel's phone. Together, we pieced together the truth. A 2-year affair happening everywhere. At Jill's house, at my house, fancy hotels, business trips. Anywhere that could sneak away. Jill was furious, and so was I. She wanted revenge, so did I. We concluded if they wanted each other, they could have each other. We quietly prepared to divorce them at about the same time, blindsiding them just as they blindsided us. Jill and I lined up attorneys, got our ducks in a row. Sure enough, the weekend they planned another rendezvous, Jill and I discovered which hotel they'd booked. In coordination with the sheriff's department, we served them with divorce papers right there. I personally waited in the lobby. Rachel was summoned to the front desk. She appeared in just a bathrobe, looking shocked. The sheriff confirmed her identity and served her. Her eyes were wide, voice trembling, asking me what was going on. I just said, "You had an affair, I'm leaving you." She tried grabbing my arm, demanding I let her explain, but I refused. The sheriff intervened, telling her to let go. She screamed at me that I'd regret it. I walked out, leaving her reeling. Jill served Colin similarly at home. They were both stunned. They claimed they never intended to leave their spouses, it was just purely sexual. They'd insisted other couples survive worse affairs, so we shouldn't break up over it. I asked Rachel what she thought the outcome would be. She answered lamely she wasn't thinking. I called her an idiot for destroying our family. She had no real defense. Friends started calling me evil for not giving her a chance. My kids knew the basics of what was happening. They sided with me, but still wished we could stay together. It hurt. Part of me felt guilty. Rachel, who I once adored, was now someone I hated, but she refused to move out, so we still share a house. She began therapy, ironically reading the same book I'd bought for her. The more she tried to show me how remorseful she was, the angrier I got. She called me bitter and resentful, then apologized. She kept urging me to try counseling together, but I saw it as a blame-shifting tactic. She tried seducing me, but I refused. I told her we'd never be intimate again. She tearfully offered me whatever it takes to fix this. I told her it was too late. She's sorry only because she got caught. Family and friends also chimed in, telling me I was moving too fast, that I'd regret not giving her a second chance. They insisted she discover how much she loved me. I told them I'd never be anyone's fallback plan. Yet part of me struggled. I still loved her, but hate had seeped in too. I felt conflicted, guilty, uncertain. Maybe I was being too harsh. Edit. Thank you for the support. I read all comments. Some pointed out crucial points. I realized a conversation with my wife had to happen, but I still believe divorce was my best option. Everworth there, UP Gates. Update. I tried posting a thorough update describing our therapy sessions and the collapse of our marriage, but auto-moderation took it down. The short version. We remain in the same house. I still intend to divorce. Rachel begs me daily for another chance, claiming her affair was the biggest mistake of her life. I remain unmoved. She's going to therapy, reading infidelity recovery books. She's extremely remorseful, but at times resentful. I won't even consider reconciliation. Our kids mostly side with me, but they wish for a miracle. We're giving them love and reassurance. I did attend some therapy sessions with her, but I made it clear I wasn't seeking to repair the marriage, just to see her progress. The second session spiraled into an argument over me contacting Jill. Rachel was paranoid and started a revenge affair with Jill. That hypocrisy enraged me. In the end, I told Rachel I'd do no such thing, but I refused to cut contact with Jill. We're both victims, not cheaters. Rachel is unbelievably desperate. She's proposed everything from a post-nuptial arrangement to a trial separation that might let me date others if I want to get it out of my system, while she waits faithfully. But I see no sense in that. We're nearly done with the divorce, and ironically, she's been quite fair in the financial settlement. She calls it the least I can do after what I did. I keep bracing for her to turn nasty, but so far she hasn't. She's still trying to prove her love. She frequently tries to initiate sex, explaining she wants me to feel loved and desired. I keep declining. My trust is gone. She's frustrated, and we fight about that too. I've recently realized how little respect I had for myself, letting her walk all over me. Now that I'm resolute about leaving, she's showering me with attention. She says she finally understands what she almost lost, how she let excitement overshadow her real love. She claims she's not the same person who did that. It's tempting to see this as a good sign. But I can't ignore the 2-year affair. My sense of justice won't let me remain with someone who so easily betrayed me. Everyone around me says I'll regret the divorce, but my gut says I deserve better. Edit. Thank you again. I read your inputs. I plan to talk to Rachel soon. 3 weeks after the final divorce hearing, it's official. We're divorced. The first days post-divorce, I was a wreck, mourning the final death of what was once a happy marriage. Then I found surprising comfort with Jill. We'd grown close, supporting each other through this fiasco. One night, conversation over dinner turned into a passionate encounter. No lies, no guilt. Possibly we were just emotional, but it felt right. The intimacy was mind-blowing. For the first time, I realized the difference between stale, obligatory sex and truly mutual desire. She also insisted we remain respectful of each other's feelings. We might or might not become a couple, but for now, we're simply there for each other. Yes, a revenge affair was never my intention, but we're both free now. If it leads to more, I'm open but not committing. The entire experience restored some of my self-esteem. I truly see I have options. Meanwhile, Rachel moved out. She's in a modest apartment, depressed, still begging me to reconsider. Her therapy continues, but I'm done. The kids are adjusting. They see we can co-parent peacefully. I keep them out of any adult conflict as best I can. They understand we love them, though they're mother, and I can't remain married. In the end, I'm proud I never stooped to her level. I filed for divorce with dignity. I'd overcame the heartbreak. I found an ally in Jill and ironically discovered the difference between being just comfortable in a marriage and being truly appreciated by someone else. My parting advice to anyone in a similar crisis: respect yourself. Don't accept disrespect or half measures. Communicate, but don't let your spouse's betrayal define your worth. Don't settle for force or lazy intimacy. Everyone deserves enthusiastic love. Healing is personal. Only you can decide if you can or want to forgive an affair. If not, it's your right to walk away. So that's it. We parted ways. The divorce is final. I discovered new confidence and I'm forging a path with or without Jill. Life goes on. I'm still healing but feeling hopeful. I made it out. Things are meh right now. Another UPDAT. People wrote me asking if I disappeared or if something bad happened. I'm alive, just purposely avoiding infidelity forums. This stuff can still be triggering. But since many ask, here's a quick wrap-up. Jill, the other betrayed spouse, and I remain close. It's developed into a real relationship. She wrapped up her own divorce from Colin. We keep things relatively low profile, mindful of the kids' emotions. Our children are adjusting well, though there's some friction if they all gather. My daughter especially is slow to accept big changes, but therapy helps. We're doing our best not to force them into an awkward big blended family situation. Rachel tried a few stunts to win me back, but I shut them down. She's resentful that Jill remains in my life. She's convinced we had planned this from the start, which is nonsense. But so far, she's mostly just sad and stuck. She's let it be known she regrets everything. She's not my responsibility now. Colin is likewise a mess. He apparently has a new girlfriend who doesn't get along with his kids. Good luck to him. So yes, the dust is settling. Jill and I are happy the kids are coping, and we're letting life move forward in a positive way. That's pretty much it. Thanks to those who worried about me. I'm okay. And for anyone living a similar nightmare, there's hope on the other side. You can come out stronger.